Hello everyone, we have a guest today. Today our guest is Excellency Yaser Tai-Hsiang Cheng, and he is representative of Taipei Economic and Cultural Mission in Ankara and a very good friend of Turkey. Excellency Yaser Bey, welcome.
Thank you, Hojam. It is my pleasure to have this opportunity to have a dialogue with you.
Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to really thank you for accepting our invitation. In these Corona days, Ankara University organizes webinars in order to understand the situation around the world and to strengthen the ties with our friendly nations. So, Excellency, I prepared some questions for you. Let me begin. First of all, Taiwan fought against Corona very well. How did how did you do it? And what kind of precautions did you take to prevent the dangers of the Corona?
Okay. Most importantly, Taiwan learned a valuable lesson from the 2003 SARS pandemic. So we always stay on high alert when it comes to contagious disease, especially those originated from China. Taiwan's health authority noticed the possibility of a spreading epidemic in Wuhan, China on 31st December 2019. And immediately we contacted the WHO to confirm and warn. Even WHO ignored Taiwan's warning, but we still took very strict procedure to examine passengers from Wuhan on the same day, and we respond well before the world did. This is the reason, yeah.
I see. So I think not only the passengers from Wuhan, did you, control the other passengers from abroad, or?
We take the very strict procedure. Firstly, we check those passengers from China, and of course, we also take a very strict procedure to check the international passenger. Yeah.
I see. So what kind of other measures did you take? For example, in Turkey or the World Health Organization, firstly, they said that you shouldn't use masks. But I see that, the countries who use, masks, they managed to stop the virus. Yeah. So as far as I know, Taiwanese people also use masks.
Yeah, actually, right? Mask is become after 2003 SARS pandemic. Wearing mask is like a culture for Taiwanese people. Even before this pandemic, people usually wearing masks in any public place. It's a very high percentage. We are doing so. Yeah.
I see. So I know that the Taiwanese people are also clean people, so they always wash their hands. As a culture, they use the mask. So I got it. Yeah. So the second question, what is the situation now in Taiwan? What about the numbers of the ill people? What do you think?
Okay, up until today, Taiwan report only 454 cases and 7 deaths. And people in Taiwan live, work, and study normally without a major lockdown, which is very rare in the world. And please be noted that Taiwan's living space is just like a Denizli of Turkey.
I see.
Our population is 23 million. Which is almost Istanbul plus Ankara plus Izmir plus Bursa's population. It's such a big number of a population living in Denizli, and you can imagine the density. So we are proud of our action of fighting coronavirus. Yeah.
Yeah, we are also following Taiwan, it said, yeah, you did very well, I think you did very good. So what about, what happens in the coming months? What do you think? What will happen in Taiwan? Are you going to strengthen, how can I say? What about the normal life will go on, or are you going to change the rules, etc.?
Yeah. In the coming month, the whole world has to be very careful and work closely to prevent a second or even third wave of the pandemic. And before the vaccine is developed, we need to learn how to safely live with the coronavirus. This is our suggestion.
Yeah. I see, you are right. So, and what do you think about Turkey's fight against corona? So for you, you did very well. What do you think about Turkey?
I think Turkey also response to the coronavirus is as good as Taiwan. The fatality rate here is very low compared to many other countries, compared to European country. And I think that's mainly because Turkey has a great healthcare system. And like Taiwan, I noticed that Turkey also received many international praise for its anti-pandemic success. Even from the WHO, you got praise, and we feel safe and comfortable here.
That's good. It's good to hear it. So, and the other question is, how has Corona affected the balances in the world for you? What do you see? What do you think about, let me say, near future after Corona? Ses gitti. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, it's okay now.
Okay,
it's okay now. So I would like to ask the question again, if you don't mind. How has Corona affected the balances in the world?
This pandemic proved to the whole world what the Chinese Communist regime truly is. The US and many countries in the democratic world have realized that the CCP regime cannot be trusted. The CCP regime covered up the COVID-19 outbreak and caused the world countless lives. The CCP would do anything just to maintain their power at any cost. And I strongly recommend every one of us should watch the interview just 2 days or 3 days ago conducted by the Fox TV to the Chinese virologist, Dr. Li Mengyan, who accused Beijing of a corona cover-up and spreading the virus to the entire world.
I see. So how was Taiwan affected economically?
The whole world has been affected by the pandemic economically, and Taiwan is no exception. However, we are relatively optimistic about Taiwan's economy. The Taiwan government have launched several economic relief plans and stimulus measure to help elevate the impact of the pandemic. And the Taiwan government lowered its 2020 GDP growth forecast by only 0.7 percentage point to 1.6%, while the global growth forecast was cut much more sharply. And we are confident that Taiwan economy will rebound quickly as it always did in the past.
I see. So you think that in a short time, Taiwan will be the same like before?
Yeah, we hope we can recover very soon. We hope, yeah.
I see. So what will be the new world order after Corona? What do you think? I mean, before there was some, how can I say, ideas that one of them is the world is a small village. But now we see that, yeah, it's a small village, but, you know, there are some, in European countries, for example, they they put some strength measures against stopping the tourists. I mean, the travel, how can I say, freedom, they cut. So what do you think? What will happen in after the, I mean, coronavirus?
The pandemic actually hit the whole world, hit everywhere, hit the Chinese economy extremely hard, and foreign investment has started to pull out of from China. On countries that are smart enough would begin to rethink and adjust their political and economic strategy. Most probably that they would shift much of their focus away from China and move to the neighboring Asian countries. And it'd be unwise for any country to continue to believe that the so-called Chinese dream and its One Belt, One Road initiative. I would like to take this opportunity to call the country and people who used to support that China will bring them prosperity on economy or tourism. Please wake up. The authoritarian regime will only lead human beings into iron curtain. We have to learn lesson from this pandemic.
I see. So do you expect an economic crisis in the world?
We are closely watching the development of the global economy. Since Taiwan is an export-oriented economy, we heavily rely on selling goods to other countries. If there's an economic crisis, Taiwan has to be better prepared than other countries. But so far, we remain optimistic.
I see. So about the education, you know, it's really in Turkey, beginning from the March, half of the March, the education, let me say, cut it with a knife, let me say. So we use, I mean, computers, internet, so distanced, I mean, education we did. So how did Taiwan manage education during the Corona period?
You cannot imagine that Taiwan is blessed that our school remain open and thanks to our successful handling of the pandemic. But in the meantime, of course, our education system also implemented a series of anti-epidemic measures to prevent the mass infection of campus. But in general, all the school, university open, and it was successful. We are very lucky.
Yeah, I think so. You are very lucky.
Yes.
So, and the other question is, how will lessons be conducted until vaccinations or medicines are found?
As I mentioned, that the school and the university in Taiwan are basically unaffected by the pandemic. However, Taiwan's Ministry of Education encourage school and the teacher to make use of technology to prepare and implement online teaching in case it's needed one day. And I think we are hoping that the vaccine and medicine can be developed very soon.
Yes. I see. For example, our university, Ankara University, now established a faculty, distance education faculty. Yes. This faculty will make all the lessons online. So from Taiwan, from China, from Russia, from United States, everyone can, as far as I understand, will attend to the lessons. So it will be an interesting, challenge for Turkey, I think. So yes. Excellency, one question I'm thinking, can Turkey and Taiwan cooperate in the production of medical devices for you? And what can we do? What can be done together? Our companies or our, governments, Can they do something together? Can they produce something?
Yeah, since Turkey and Taiwan both have a good performance in this field, and I think we definitely can and should cooperate. For example, Taiwan has a capability to export turnkey mask factory solution, and we are looking for a partner in Turkey. And this cooperation could be good and a practical starting point. And actually, over the past weeks, we try to connect some vaccine company between Taiwan and Turkey, and they start to have a video conference and talking about the potential future cooperation. And we are looking forward for the very positive result in the coming days, in the coming month. Yes.
Yeah, it's very important. Thank you so much for this information, because we know the technology of Taiwan, and we know the power of the technology of Turkey. This, if they,
we can
join
work
together.
We
Yeah,
can
it
work
will
together.
be. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes.
So, Excellency, how are the relations between Turkey and Taiwan now? We know that you effort very much, and you love Turkey very much, and you did very much. So how are the relations between Turkey and Taiwan now?
I have been here almost 6 years, and over the past 6 years, we have seen the bilateral relation continue grow in many areas, such as trade, investment, culture, education, tourism, technology, and so on. And what I mentioned is that we really have a practical, solid cooperation on this area. And it is fair to say that the Taiwan-Turkey relationship is now and at the strongest point ever. And we are looking forward to more progress in the coming years. Yes.
Inshallah, let me say. So,
yeah.
But at that point, I have additional question. Yeah. So, what should be done to build better relations? What can we do? What is our, luck? What is our problems?
Yeah, we are looking to encourage more exchange between two sides, such as travel, culture exchange, business visit, seminar, etc. With more Taiwanese and Turkish people getting to know each other, there will be huge potential for the two sides to cooperate. So I think to know each other more and to put aside some political obstacle, leave aside, and I think we can benefit from each other. Yes.
I see. So I would like to add something for the people who is listening us now. With the big support of Excellency Yaser Bey, Ankara University Asia Pacific Research Center, APAM, published 2 books about Taiwan, Taiwan Studies in Turkey 1, and the second volume, Taiwan Studies in Turkey 2. And we published articles related to Taiwanese history, political, situation.
In every area, in every
area. So thank you very much for your support again. So, His Excellency, what are you doing these days? How do you doing in these Corona days? Are you going? Do you go outside for eating, shopping? How is your one day?
Actually, for myself, I follow the Turkish government's regulation very strict. When the city locked down, I keep myself inside the room. And for the office business, our office continued to work during the pandemic period. Recently, we have been endeavoring to provide humanitarian aid to the Syrian brother and sister in Gaziantep, in Idlib. This cooperation with the Turkish authority. For example, we contribute 100,000 masks to the Syrian vulnerable brother and sister and other protective equipment. We are also now at this moment building a multi-function activity center in southern city of Turkey. And in general, my personal and our office, we are very okay. We are not affected by the pandemic very much, and our business going on. We work very hard to enhance Taiwan's relation with Turkey. Yes.
Thank you so much. So I know, and you also mentioned that you lived more than, I think, 6 years in Turkey.
Yeah.
And I know that you visited many cities here. Have you visited, how many places did you visit in Turkey? How many cities? And which places did you like? Let me ask you.
Actually, my first visit to Turkey was in 1988. Probably when
1980.
you're very young. I came in 1988, and from that year, you see, almost 32 years. From that day, I love Turkey until today. So since then, almost every other 10 years, I come to visit Turkey again. And I'm lucky to, this time, I can work here. And during this period, I visit many city, place. Don't even mention Istanbul, Antalya, Bursa, Izmir, Hatay, Malatya, Kahramanmaraş, Gaziantep, Erzurum, Edirne, and
Many places.
tomorrow, inshallah, I'm going to Sparta. And
I see, inshallah.
if you are asking which place I love more, but I have to say, Turkey is just like a paradise for me. So in paradise, every corner is beautiful. Every corner is beautiful. Turkey is just like my home. I love Turkey.
I see. We appreciate for your words. But then let me ask you the food. Which food do you like in Turkey? You mean döner kebab or other, I mean kebabs or? Huh?
Because I love every kind of Turkish food. So you have to ask me which food you don't like, because I love every kind of food. But I especially like kelle paça.
Oh, kelle paça, like me.
And işkembe, pide.
İşkembe.
Yeah. I stayed in Belgium a few years ago. You cannot imagine when I was in Belgium, when I served in Saudi Arabia, I always go to Turkish restaurants.
Really?
Yes.
That's good. That's perfect. So, Excellency, finally, what would you like to say as closing words?
Okay. Thank you very much for your interview. I would like to call on our friend in Turkey and the world to support Taiwan's participation in the international organization, in the international arena. We are a part of this globe. We cannot be ignored by the world. In recent years, we have witnessed too many atrocity committed by unfortunately, the Chinese government against the Uyghur, the Hong Kong people, and even Chinese whistleblower and dissident. And Chinese has always been a huge military threat to many countries in the region, including India, Japan, Taiwan, Vietnam, and so on. To counter the Chinese autocratic power, the world needs Taiwan, because Taiwan knows the CCP, we know the China the best, and always stand on the front line of a democratic camp against the brutal regime. We want to be a friend of Turkey, and we want to be a friend of every country in the world. Yes.
Thank you very much. Excellency, thank you so much, really, and hope to see you again. Thank you very much. So you give your time to us, and we talked with you. Inshallah, in healthy days, we
Yes.
can meet face to face and talk face to face, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I also,
Hmm.
yeah, please. Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Also, I have to thank Ankara University. Ankara University is our long friend, and you actually Ankara University educate our student to learn Turkish and even educate our diplomat to enhance our relation with Turkey. We thank you, Metem Hoja. We thank Rector Erkan Ibish. You are Taiwan's real friend, and we hope to continue our cooperation with Ankara University. My
Thank you.
regard to Ankara University.
Thank you very much. We also appreciate you have organized many, scholarships for the Turkish students. They go to Taiwan, they learn very much about Taiwan and they learn language. So we really appreciate. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hocam. Thank you.
Thank you. Görüşmek üzere. Have a good day.
Görüşürüz.
Okay. Yes, we talked with Excellency Yaser Bey, representative of Taipei Economic and Cultural Mission in Ankara. Hopefully, see you in the next